Think they'll go 100 basis points?
Anything's possible. Maybe there'll be a Wall Street Journal article coming out the weekend before, and then we'll find out.
Right, because the last time Fed Chair Powell said it's reasonable to expect 50 or 75 at the next meeting, although the time before that, he said we're only looking at 50. So I guess they're recalibrating as they get this inflation data.
Yeah, I mean, I think, to me, the issue isn't so much that. It's that they sort of find these data points, and it's kind of like ex post justification for stuff they've already decided they wanted to do. So Powell, one time looks at ECI, and that's why we're starting the tapering clock sooner. Then it's UMISH and 5 to 10-year inflation expectations. I don't think they really have a coherent strategy, but I do think the...
Wait a second. That's not fair. They've told us that it's all about inflation right now.
Well, I mean,
and now we're getting a hotter number.
They haven't told us exactly how expeditiously they want to move up to neutral. I think the more important point, really, for investors is that the Fed basically has two options. Two doors they can walk through. Behind door number one is recession, and behind door number two is let inflation expectations drift higher. They've told us pretty clearly that they would prefer, if you have to make a mistake,
number one,
you'd go through door number one. And that, to me, is the most relevant thing for investors. So, I mean, for example, I think the economy could be, frankly, on a glide path towards contraction. And really, the only thing left to go at this point is the labor market. We know that initial claims are picking up modestly. I think some increase in the unemployment rate at this point is inevitable. And we know that hiring intentions are declining. So I think there's reason to think that employment begins to contract outright at some point later this year. And again, the Fed is still in an aggressive posture against inflation. That's not exactly a good recipe for risk appetite.
Mike, is it already in the market, though?
I doubt all of that is fully in the market at this point. If you had to kind of psychoanalyze the market reaction today, I think part of it is a let's get this over with attitude. So there's still this clinging to this idea that if we go 100 basis points in July, that it represents a front loading of what ultimately is going to be done in total by the Fed. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying this is the way you can kind of plot the story out. And it makes it seem like we do it in July. We kind of get free a little bit of the macro whipsaw because we're through the CPI number. There's no meeting in August. Who knows what can happen after that? September's far enough away for the purposes of equity traders to say, let's focus on earnings and see if that's priced in for the moment.
Well, the way I interpret the market action today is we went from the inflation, high rates sort of fear off that hotter CPI number to the recession fear, right? Treasury yields turned around, at least at the long end. The dollar was stronger off the inflation number. It's now weaker. So everything became about the recession, Neil. What are we looking at? You said it, or contraction. How deep now? Maybe that's the question. We go from what kind of recession?
Well, I think a modest recession is likely. I mean, there's no significant macro imbalance in the economy outside of like household spending on durable goods. But, look, the Eurodollar futures market is pricing in, Mike can correct me if I'm wrong, I think 4 25 basis point rate cuts next year at this point. Yeah. So to me, I don't know if they do that. I think the Fed probably won't be cutting that much in 2023. And there could be two reasons why that is. Maybe I'm wrong about the growth outlook and growth is holding up a little bit better. Or what I think is more likely is that the Fed has a more hawkish reaction function than people believe. As I said,
or that inflation just stays high and sticky.
I think they need to be really sure about inflation coming off the boil before they give the market a pivot.